So good evening. Welcome to the August 20th Town Hall regarding the reopening plan for the 2020-2021 school year. I'm Dr. Craig Sheboy, Superintendent of Schools. I'm joined by Dr. Andrea Tejedor, and tonight we'll also be joined by Ms. Rachel Adelstein, the principal of the Fort Montgomery Elementary School, who is hosting us tonight, as well as Mr. Tom Fargo, our Director of Facilities. Over the past month, we've been talking about 4 guiding principles for our reopening schools. Number 1, ensuring the health, safety, and wellness of our students, faculty, and staff. 2, delivering high-quality instruction to students regardless of the delivery model. 3, being flexible to ever-changing conditions and responsive to student needs. And 4, planning for progress, not perfection. Over the past few weeks, we've been looking at quite a bit of information. We began with an overview of our vision and a number of options for our instructional program and our safety and hygiene. We presented our model structure, our phasing plan, and continued to explain our processes and protocols in greater detail. We introduced our schedules for each building and dug deeper into student experiences. And we addressed issues of the operation of the building and our system as we moved into our phasing and then into our hybrid program and introduced our virtual academy option for families. We spent some time talking about the student and staff experience, including these elements here, as well as focused on some of the key changes that we would see in our schools, namely the limited traffic hallways, periodic health screenings, distanced workstations, reduced classroom seating, sanitation stations, avoiding the sharing of materials, increased sanitation and PPE, and virtual meetings when possible. And that's actually why we're here at the fort today, to show a little bit closer of what we're talking about. We spent a fair amount of time explaining what we've been doing to prepare for the health and safety of our children and our faculty and staff in terms of procurement of materials and PPE. And finally, we explained a lot of our protocols and practices, including the need for health screening and temperature screening for all people when they enter our buildings, limiting our access, making sure that our devices were up to speed, cleaning and sanitation. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about food services, transportation, health services, and cleaning in general. So where do we go over the next few weeks? We'll begin to explain our processes and protocols in terms of building entry, health services, building cleaning and sanitation, transportation, and food services. Tonight, just like we're going to for our next 2 town halls, we'll show a classroom setup at each level with an eye on physical distancing and cleaning protocols for the classrooms. We'll explain our processes in regards to student arrival and dismissal. And last, we'll provide information about instruction in the virtual academy. Building entry. We received a lot of different questions about access and how would we be scanning students or faculty and staff or visitors when they enter the building. So in regards to access, temperature scanning of all entrance to the buildings will be done each morning. Devices have the capacity to scan 16 people in a second as they walk through under the scanners. We have multiple scanners at the high school and at the intermediate school, and the Fort Montgomery Elementary School has one at the main entrance. Temperature devices are hooked up to computer monitors, which will be monitored by aides and monitors. Staff and students who register as having a temperature will be escorted to the isolation room in the building. No-touch thermometers will be used as a backup if needed. And I want to stress here that it is essential that we limit access to our buildings, to our students, faculty, and staff, and essential visitors. That's why we'll be doing a lot of meetings remotely this year. In regards to health services, we take the health and safety of our faculty and staff and our students very seriously, and we've been collaborating with the district's physician, Dr. Peter Gergely, as well as the Orange County Department of Health and the New York State Department of Health in all matters referencing COVID-19, and we've been working close with our nurses just to make sure that the information that we have is also up to date and accurate. So if your child is presented to the school nurse with symptoms that are consistent with being identified as a concern for COVID, you will be called up to pick up your child as per New York State education law. We are asking that families revise their emergency plans to make sure that they can have their child retrieved within 30 minutes. It is essential that we have this so that we can mitigate any risk of exposure to other individuals. That child would be placed in an isolation room, again, as per New York State Education Department and Department of Health guidelines. Remember, the longer anyone is here who's exhibiting symptoms, the more risk we have for our students and our staff. So we appreciate your understanding. And again, it is essential that we have up-to-date emergency contact information for all students. We have information on our contact monitoring progress, and we'll be posting information right to our website on our COVID tab on the website, so you can follow this. But in general, the district will cooperate with the Department of Health in terms of contact tracing by providing logs and attendance records as need be, contact information for individuals who may have been in an exposed, in contact with an exposed or allegedly exposed individual. In addition, we've established protocols for symptomatic or positive COVID student or staff exposure. And again, this is on our website, and everything is in alignment with the Department of Health guidelines, as well as with the State Department of Health and New York State Education Department guidance. In regards to COVID guidance, families must take responsibility for the daily screening of their children for COVID-19, including fever or chills 100 degrees or greater, and that's without Tylenol or without ibuprofen. A cough, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headache, new loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, nausea and or vomiting, and diarrhea. And again, you'll see on every one of these slides for health services, it is important that we have up-to-date emergency contact for all students. In regards to return to school after illness, as per New York State Education Department, the return to school and learning protocol must include, at minimum, documentation of evaluation by a healthcare provider, a negative COVID testing and symptom resolution, or if COVID-19 positive, release from isolation from a healthcare provider as required by the Department of Health and New York State Education Department. There is some special information that everyone should be aware of. Current CDC guidance recommends the use of spacers or valve holding chambers and an MDI instead of nebulizer delivered asthma medication when feasible, in order to reduce the chance or the aerosolization and transmission of COVID. Please ask your doctor or your child's doctor about this. Should your child be in need of a nebulizer, we'll administer any nebulizer treatment outdoors, as this is the safest. If your child is able to self-carry with an inhaler, we're going to ask them to remove themselves from the classroom, as they have to remove their mask to administer. Of course, at any time, the student can come to the health office and go outside to take their inhaler. In regards to immunization, please be aware that mandated immunizations are still required by New York State during this pandemic, regardless of whether our district has a hybrid, remote, or full in-school learning. Immunizations are due within the first 14 days of school, or your child will not be allowed to attend school in any of those modalities. All of the kindergarten required vaccines should be completed or in process as per New York State guidelines. The Tdap booster for students entering 6th grade and 7th and 12th grade requires the I can never say this word, the meningococcal vaccine. I couldn't say it even before COVID. There are no exemptions for immunizations except medical, which needs to be renewed every year by a New York State physician. In regards to physicals, health physicals for grades kindergarten, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11 are mandated and should be sent to the health office within the first 30 days of school. Mandated physicals can be dated 1 calendar year from the beginning of the previous school year. In other words, any physical dated after September 4th, 2019 would be acceptable. In regards to cleaning, we've spent a lot of time preparing our cleaning staff and preparing our buildings for the beginning of the school year. While we still have construction going on at O'Neill, we do anticipate that will be done and we will be substantially complete by September 1st. But in addition, the custodial staff has undergone refresher training on CDC cleaning protocols for classrooms, other areas, office areas, and toilet rooms. These trainings will be repeated and enhanced as necessary. In addition, the district is in the process of hiring additional custodial cleaners to help support the cleaning and sanitation of our buildings. In regards to daily practices, the custodial staff will work during each school day to support the learning environment. Hand sanitizers are available strategically throughout the buildings, and supervision at sanitizer stations with alcohol-based sanitizers will occur as per New York State Education Department and New York State Department of Health guidelines. Following meal service and consumption, food service items will be removed from classroom areas. Trash cans will be located in the hallways, and students will be asked to dispose of their trash in the appropriate receptacles. Water fountains with bubblers and water bottle fillers. The bubblers will be turned off and the ability to fill water bottles will remain on. Water fountains with only bubblers will be turned off. Emergency drills are still required and will be staggered and scheduled in each of the buildings. In regards to enhanced cleaning, the custodial staff will work between student cohorts to clean and disinfect all high-touch surfaces throughout the school. Nightly cleaning will occur to ensure the wellness of our students and staff, utilizing approved cleaning and sanitized materials. During the course of the day, cleaning and disinfecting of most frequently touched surfaces, handrails, door handles, door jambs, etc., will occur. In addition, other objects or areas will be cleaned and disinfected as required due to daily circumstance or conditions. And at the end of the day, each classroom and office will be cleaned and disinfected using foggers. Battery-operated foggers will be used for disinfecting rooms nightly. Fogging takes approximately 1 minute per room. Surfaces that students and staff will frequently touch will be wiped down after fogging. Disinfectants used for classrooms and offices are the same disinfectants that have been previously used in our buildings, namely Full Sand 2. In regards to disinfecting cleaning, in the event of a COVID confirmed positive, the Buildings and Grounds Department will initiate a deep cleaning of the impacted area within a school. As NYSED guidance suggests, any area where an individual who tests positive through a confirmed test traveled needs to be closed until it can be disinfected. The recommendation is to wait 24 hours, then clean and disinfect before opening. And again, that's with a confirmed positive COVID test. Transportation also will look a little bit different this year. Temperature screening questionnaires will be completed by families prior to leaving for the bus stop. It is essential that families check the temperature of their children to make sure they are not febrile or have a fever every day. Buses will run at 50% capacity. 1 student will be seated per seat. Students from the same household will sit together. All who ride must wear a mask during the entire ride, including drivers, monitors, and students. And all students must remain seated while the bus is in motion. That's actually Department of Transportation guidance anyway. Drivers and monitors will wear gloves if it's necessary to physically assist a student who needs help getting on the bus. Starting with the first bus stop, the students will load the bus from the back to the front. Unloading will start from the front to back, observing social distancing, 1 bus at a time. All buses will go to each school. We'll have a separate bus for the Fort, separate bus for HFIS, and separate buses for O'Neill. High-touch areas will be wiped down between the runs, and the buses will be disinfected at the end of each day. Like everything else, food service protocols will change. Breakfast will be available in each school for students who need their morning meal. Breakfast will be cold and individually wrapped. Aramark, our food service contractor, will work with each building to set up an area in or near the entrance where students can pick up the pre-bagged meal and take it to their classroom. Lunches will be delivered to the classrooms or designated meal areas. Lunches will be cold box lunches and individually wrapped. Over time, we're hoping that we can add hot items back to the menu. The elementary and middle school or intermediate school already have a pre-order system, which is still working. A Google form will be established for pre-ordering at the high school. Students with any allergies will be identified before meals, and those students will be able to eat in an area where they would not be exposed to foodborne allergens. We will be moving to a cashless system. Families may mail or send in checks in a sealed envelope with their child that would be sent to the cafeteria staff. Families are encouraged, however, to use the PayPAMS application to deposit money on their student's account, and information about PayPAMS is available on the district website. Students who order meals who do not have funds on their account will receive a meal, and a letter of negative balance will be sent to the address of record for their family to make arrangements for payment to the district school lunch program. No child will be denied a meal and ask for money, but we will send that letter of negative balance if that situation does arise. While students are virtually learning, meals will be available for the pickup at HFIS at designated times so as not to interfere with the daily routine of the school building. We will be sending out a Google form to families of children in order to be able to plan for the number of meals needed. In regards to protocols for food services, any equipment that's used to transport meals outside of the cafeteria will be sanitized before reuse for meal transportation and will be sanitized at both the beginning and the end of each day. The food service department will work to maintain social distance requirements and prepare food that is safe and sanitary for students in accordance with the district reopening plan. Staff is being trained on sanitizing, hand hygiene, social distancing, and proper mask utilization. Applications for the free and reduced lunch program are being taken now and must be submitted by September 18th for continued eligibility. Anyone who had free or reduced lunch last year will continue to receive benefits only through September 30th if they do not file another application, and the application is available on our website. We've stressed over the past few weeks well-being reporting protocols that start prior to children leaving home and end once they don't end, they're here. But prior to leaving home, it is essential that families take their children's temperature, and it is essential that anybody, student or staff or faculty who is ill, stay home. Arriving at school, all visitors, everyone who enters our buildings will be monitored through our thermal scanning system. All students and adults must wear a face covering. Social distancing will occur at all times unless individuals are on a meal break or a scheduled mask break. And during the day, staff will refer any student or adult with obvious signs or symptoms of illness to the health office.
So I'm going to spend a few moments to share some of the information that we've reported previously on the instructional models for the 2020-2021 school year. Again, all of our decisions around the student experience have been considered, including the academic, emotional, and social experiences. We've also considered the potential health risks, and we've designed our models so that we can move between them as needed in response to the current situation. So we will begin our school year on September 1st with superintendent's conference days, and September 1st through the 4th, our teachers will be here and be participating in the superintendent's conference days. September 8th, we will start instruction with the students, and we will begin in a virtual learning schedule. That will continue the week of September 14th, and the week of September 21, we will start to transition from a virtual model to a hybrid schedule. On September 21st, as we reported previously, we'll start to bring back students in kindergarten through second grade, our third grade students at the Highland Falls Intermediate School, and the ninth grade students at the James I. O'Neill High School. In addition, our special education students in self-contained classes in grades K through 6 will be in our schools for a full schedule all 4 days that we have synchronous face-to-face instruction in the physical buildings. September 29th through October 2nd, we will be running a modified weekly schedule using our 2-day block scheduling, and we will be beginning the instruction on a Tuesday because Monday is a holiday. So that day, our students who are assigned to a maroon cohort will be in school on Tuesday and Wednesday, and the students in a gold cohort will be there on Thursday and Friday. And the week of September 29th, we will be bringing back all of our students based on their cohort. Again, our students who are in special education classes that are self-contained in grades K through 6 will be attending all 4 days. Starting October 5th, we will be running our weekly schedule with the maroon cohort attending school on Monday and Wednesday, and the gold cohort being remote on those days. And then on Thursday and Friday, the gold cohort will be in school, and the maroon cohort will be attending from a virtual location. Wednesdays will be reserved for small group instruction, as well as time for teachers to check in with students and also have faculty meetings or other events that are needed for the faculty. Many parents have been anxiously awaiting information about our Virtual Learning Academy. The survey closed yesterday evening, and so we are now going through the information that we have so that we can design a program that meets the needs of all of our students. We will be looking at our kindergarten through 6th grade students. They will be taught by Highland Falls Fort Montgomery Central School District faculty. They will be instructed in the curriculum and with the best instructional practices that have been adopted by the district. Configuration for those classes is currently pending, and we are working on a schedule for our students in kindergarten through 6th grade right now. For students in 7th through 12th grade, they will have a hybrid experience from a remote location. So the students in 7th through 12th grade will be assigned a cohort, a maroon cohort or a gold cohort, but they will be participating in the classrooms that they're assigned to virtually as a part of the regular instruction that's happening in those classes daily. Again, those classes will be taught by Highland Falls Fort Montgomery Central School District faculty, and the students will have a full course load and will be expected to participate fully. So we are planning to send out notification of schedules by the end of the month. Students in grades 7 through 12 will receive notification of schedules via Parent Portal, and students in grades kindergarten through 6 will receive notification of schedules via mail, and also notifications will be sent on Class Dojo. If at this time, because the survey is closed, parents would like to opt out of in-person instruction, they should contact their child's school. We will be re-examining these decisions every 10 weeks, so parents will have the opportunity to select the option to opt out every 10 weeks moving forward.
So as we are on August 20th, we are in the midst of our final preparations, and we wanted to spend a little bit of time today going over some key dates remaining in the summer. So today is August 20th. Though New York State says we had to do 3 town halls, this is our 5th, and we have actually scheduled 2 more because we want to make sure as we drill down into more details, we continue to provide information for our families and for our community and our faculty and staff. So our next scheduled one is August 25th at 7 p.m. and then August 27th at 7 p.m. As a reminder, September 1st through 4th are superintendent conference days, and September 8th is the first day of our virtual instruction. As I had mentioned, we are at the Fort Montgomery Elementary School, and what we wanted to do is bring in Mrs. Adelstein and ask her to just demonstrate what a classroom might look like. We've received a lot of questions from families about what do we mean when we say socially distancing in the classroom, and what will that actually look like for my child? What will that look like for my teacher? So Ms. Adelstein will give us a brief overview of what a classroom, just a typical classroom at the Fort Montgomery Elementary School looks like. We will also be doing the same thing with Mr. McElduff and Ms. Maldonado at the Highland Falls Intermediate School, and with James I. O'Neill with Ms. Brand and Mrs. Haberman in the next couple weeks. So our goal is to just explain and to show, and they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, so a video is worth a little bit more than that. When Ms. Adelstein is done explaining the classroom environment to all of us, Mr. Fargo is actually going to demonstrate the process by which we use the foggers to clean our classrooms and to sanitize them using the full stand. So I will turn this back over to Dr. Tejedor and Ms. Adelstein at this time.
So we are in a first grade classroom. And in this classroom, you'll be able to see that on the floor, there are markers to delineate where we would stand in a 6-foot separation. The tables are also spaced 6 feet apart, so students have their personal workstations. I'd also like to show that there is space for the teacher to be able to deliver instruction in the front of the room with markers showing where she or he would stand so that they are maintaining a 6-foot social distance at all times. There's also space for the teacher to use their technology and to be able to access the smartboard. Students are able to see from all perspectives of the classroom. I'd also like to point out that there is a restroom in each classroom in the Fort School, and there's a clear path for students to be able to use and access that restroom at all times. There's a hand washing station with a sink right outside of the restroom with soap and paper towel that is replenished and checked daily. And there's also a hand sanitization station right on the side of the doorway, so students are able to sanitize on the go.
So at the time, we'll ask Mr. Fargo to come in and demonstrate and perhaps just give us a narration, if he can, of what the sanitizing looks like in the classrooms. I know the machine's a little bit loud, but hopefully,
You won't be able to hear me talking.
so if you want to narrate first and then
I sure will.
demonstrate.
So this fogger here disperses this fogger here disperses the disinfectant all throughout. It's in a fine mist, so I could have it fall on the surface and it could stay there. We'll get our minimum 10-minute dwell time, and we just spray and go. They don't have to wipe them back down yet or anything. So it is loud. Dr. Sheboy mentioned earlier about our battery operated ones. We do have battery operated ones. I chose to demonstrate one of our, I have several of the plug-in models. It'll give you a better demonstration. But the battery operated works the exact same. So in here, we have the full sand disinfectant. At the end of every one of their shifts, the custodians will disinfect the room. A room this size, it's a pretty good size. With all the books and everything, probably no more than 2 minutes. I'll demonstrate now. It gets items that would take my staff a long, long time, like books. It would take them half the night to go through every book, disinfect. This gets it all.
Mr. Fargo, this is on the approved list for SED and EPA?
It sure is.
Thanks, Tom. So most of the questions that we received this week were regarding the virtual plan, as well as what is my child's experience going to be like in the classroom. That's why we wanted to do a little bit of a demonstration. And it's our hope that through doing so, it will allay some concerns or some fears. We're going to spend the next couple weeks finalizing all of our preparation, installing all of our social distancing signage, all of our social distancing markers in our floors and throughout our corridors and in our classrooms, and just doing what it takes to make sure that our faculty, staff, and children are all safe as we begin reopening 2020, 2021. I want to thank Tom Fargo for being here to demonstrate the full sand fogger system. I want to thank Ms. Adelstein for being here to walk us through what a socially distanced classroom looks like at the Fort Montgomery Elementary School. As always, I want to thank Dr. Tejedor for assisting with everything related to the district all the time. I want to thank Stefan for coming to another building and setting us up. And as I've said, every time we've met and every time I've written, be safe and be well. Thank you.